Well, as we're gathering together this morning, I just want to invite you all. Today is our annual fire communion service, a ritual that we take part in every year at the first service of the new year. So if you have a piece of paper handy, just a small piece of paper is all you need, with a pen or a pencil to get to write some stuff down. It would be really great for our ritual to come further in the service. And so then you don't have to step away partway through the service and then step back in. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil handy, please grab that and keep it handy for later on in our service. It is so good to be together with you all in 2021. Happy New Year. Happy first service of the year. Let's just take a deep breath right now as we enter into our worship time together. And let us just settle in as we get to hear a real treat of some live music this morning from Theo Munson. Good morning and welcome to the First Universalist Church of Rochester, where we are called to nurture the spirit and to serve the community. Whoever you are, we welcome you here this morning. Wherever you come from, wherever you are zooming in from, we welcome you here this morning, and whomever you love, we welcome you here this morning. However you are facing 2021, we welcome you. We welcome all of you. It is good to be together this morning. Happy New Year, First Universalist. As we begin our time, I just want to start by welcoming anybody who's here for the first or second or the third time. Welcome. We're so glad that you've been able to make it here to our virtual sacred space. There is a visitors form that is shared in the chat. A link to that is shared in our chat. Please feel free to click on it and to fill it out at your convenience, that we may get to welcome you beyond just the welcome that we get to offer here. You will find that this is a very warm and a welcoming community. As we gather, as folks have already been doing, please pop into the chat and offer a greeting. We'd love to hear who's here. A happy new year, a hey, I'm here this morning, a wave, a hello, anything. Pop into the chat and let us know that you are here. It is good for us to be able to greet one another and to know who is here this morning. Welcome to worship at First Universalist Church. Our opening hymn this morning is actually one that is not in our hymnal, but rather has become a favorite in our broader denomination in Unitarian Universalism, often sung at our annual gathering of General Assembly and in other larger Unitarian Universalist gatherings. This is a song about being known and making promises to one another, And we will actually be led in this song in We Shall Be Known. The song is written by Ma Muse. However, we shall be led this morning by the Thrive Choir, which will be just shared in the slide when we sing this morning. Let us join hearts and voices in singing together this morning, recognizing that even as we are singing muted from our own homes, we are creating a collective song across our city of Rochester, our country, and across the world. Let us sing together, We Shall Be Known.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds to change a life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning, friends. We gather today for the first time in the new year. Our old year will be remembered for generations to come as the year of the COVID pandemic. Isolation and the fear of infection have been an enormous inconvenience for almost everyone and a terrible tragedy for millions. It has been a year of loss, of Black lives, of trans lives, of elder lives, of civility and conscience, of planetary viability. It's tempting to wish it gone, to burn the year away, to move on, to forget. But momentous events frame our lives. Some, the most important perhaps, are intensely personal: a marriage, a death, the birth of a child. But those that are shared more broadly can change the shape of a culture or the course of human history. So let us move on, but not forget. Let us use what we have learned to emerge from our shared isolation with new eyes and a new shared dream of a more just, verdant, and compassionate world. That world cannot be won by force of law or military prowess. It will require, in the words of Dorothy Day, a revolution of the heart, one that starts with each of us. How wonderful then to be together here this morning, for revolutions of the heart are the business of faith communities. Come, let us worship together. Each week, we light a chalice flame to symbolize the fire of commitment and the refining power of religious faith. Perhaps we may ask ourselves, is this the same flame that burned here last week, or is it something new? And of course, the answer is both, for fire is also a metaphor for change. As the chalice reinvents itself each week, we too can change inside and out. May we find the strength together to choose our better selves. As I light this chalice, and as many of you light your own at home, please join in saying our chalice words in unison. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please join now in our affirmation of faith, followed by the doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. Khalil Gibran wrote, "There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these God speaks, and from behind their eyes, God smiles upon the earth." Please click the link that you will find in the chat window to give online to the First Universalist Church, or feel free to send a check in the physical mail.
Friends, our story this morning is one that is a poem about the cyclical nature of the year and what we can count on. So I want to just invite you, as I'm reading through this story, to consider what are some of the things this year that have still endured for you? What are some of the things that still happened this year, despite all of the ways that this world is changing and has changed? So our story this morning is The Stars Will Shine. The Stars Will Still Shine by Cynthia Rylant. This new year, the sky will still be there. The stars will still shine. Birds will fly over us, and church bells will chime. Cows will still have calves. Kittens will sleep. Flowers will bloom, a promise they keep. We shall have peaches. We shall have pie. Perhaps you did during your holiday season. We shall have ice cream, 3 scoops high. Why not, right? Homes will be cozy. Homes will be warm. We'll curl up together when rain makes a storm. And in this new year, love will be strong. Growing and growing all the days long. There will be goodness. There will be grace. There will be light in every dark place. The sky will still be there. The stars will still shine. Birds will fly over us. Church bells will chime. The end. So church bells may be chiming, but church certainly looks quite different right now. I wonder what you could think of that endured this past year. What were some of the things that still happened? Of course, the stars still shine. But as you reflect on this past year, what has endured? What has still been a part of your days? We have a beautiful musical accompaniment to get to ponder some of this morning. Our musical interlude is written by our very own Richard S. Gilbert, Dick Gilbert, as he's known to many of us, and set to the music of Ed Shell, a song of reflecting on the past year and looking ahead. Let us enjoy together and take a moment of reflection while listening to this song, There Is a Time.
And a time for beholding the future. this life's treasured past, and our time to explore untrod pathways, time when we gather in life's restore, time to plant tomorrow's burgeoning seed, time to sing the past is briefly here. The future calls, we must be on our way.
Friends, I invite you now into this reverent time of sharing in the joys and the sorrows of our gathered community. We begin this new year with some new joys and sorrows bowls, dedicated and donated from folks in the congregation who would like to be able to see the stones drop into the water of the bowl. So if you would like to, as we share these joys and sorrows, I invite you to place a hand over your heart to listen from this heart-centered place. As I place stones into the bowl, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. And all are invited to share your joys and your sorrows in the chat, that we may hear from our community gathered here and join in this important ritual together. Friends, I drop a stone into the bowl with a joy from Emma Berry, who is our office administrator. Emma is celebrating her 2-year anniversary of working here at First Universalist. She celebrated it yesterday. So Emma, thank you so much for answering the call to join our congregation and to be here with us. We could not do this without you, literally. Dear friends, a sorrow from Hal Bauer that Phil hasn't been able to log on to Zoom. Hal, please get Phil in touch with us and we will hold Phil in our hearts. From Ann Rohde, mourning the death of William's sister Nancy this week, who died of COVID. Holding you, Ann and William, and all who knew and loved Nancy in our hearts. A sorrow from Julie Kleinhans for an aunt currently hospitalized with COVID. Holding your family in our hearts, Julie. A sorrow at the death of a childhood friend, Greg, from Catherine Coates. A joy from Jacob, I'm assuming, grateful to be in Canada to see Nate. I'll be there for a couple more weeks. We're so excited for you and so grateful that you get to be there with him. And a sorrow, 2 friends of Jacob's have died in these last 2 weeks, Marielle and Adriana, both in their 20s. Thinking of you and all who knew and loved them, Jacob and Nate. Elizabeth Ostos remembering the loss of her sister-in-law's mother, another COVID death. Elizabeth holding you in tender care. A joy from MJ Curry that the 2 courses she'll be teaching online this spring are repeats. It's not easy. Holding you in our hearts, MJ, as we start a new semester, as all of our teachers and professors prepare to start a new semester. A mixture of joy and sorrow from Marty McGuire as she packs up Christmas for the last time in bubble wrap, as she will move from the house she has been in, that has been her home for the last 30 years, but soon onto a new adventure. Holding you, Marty, and all who are moving and celebrating their last Christmases in their space. Joy from Joanna Connolly, celebrating 1 year with this beautiful church. She's been here since December 29th, 2019. Happy anniversary, Johanna. A joy from John Lukes to connect with and get to know 3 cousins via Zoom. Beautiful. I'll also share a sorrow from a dear colleague of mine, Margaret, whose father is hospitalized right now with unexpected, an unknown condition right now. So just holding them in our hearts and in our prayers. And let's just take a deep breath. A sorrow from Emma Berry that her best friend from high school who lives with another best friend recently tested positive for COVID. Holding them in our hearts, Emma, and all those who worry. A joy from Shirley Malone that she got to visit her daughter and son-in-law yesterday in Buffalo. So grateful for that, Shirley. Glad you had some time. Friends, as we draw our ritual of joys and sorrows to a close, I will now drop one final stone into the bowl to represent all of the joys and the sorrows left unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. May all be held in the heart of love. And this morning, we also light our white candle. This is a candle to acknowledge that we are a community affected by the grief, by the pain, by the unique challenges that we are facing in living in a time of COVID, in living in a time of a pandemic. May this candle's flame hold our experiences around this horrific disease. And may its light be a beacon of hope and a reminder that we are not alone. We are not alone. Dear ones, I invite you now to enter into a time of prayer and meditation with me. If it feels comfortable to you, get comfortable in your seat, or close your eyes, soften your gaze, leave them open. However it feels good to kind of be in your body right now, grounded there. We'll just take a deep breath together to ground us and get us started. The stars may still shine, but the quiet is so very real. The quiet around this time of year, the celebrations we have missed, the moments of noticing the absences of this holiday season. Let us take a prayerful moment to acknowledge the quiet. Perhaps the quiet felt familiar, like many of the days of this year, like many of the days of your life. Perhaps the quiet was welcome, opened you up to new ways to be this year, new and different, transformed in beautiful and unexpected ways. Perhaps the quiet was filled with grief, missing the voices and the faces, the conversation and the laughter, an empty space where someone no longer lives in your celebrations. Perhaps the quiet gave space to think, to set new intentions, to read books and play board games, to just be for a little while without needing to be on. Perhaps the quiet brought you through the unimaginable, space to work it out, space to miss and remember, space to forgive, space to feel that which you do not often name. Perhaps the quiet was joyful, and you didn't think it would be. In the mixture that is the quiet, in the ways that this year has felt different, in the noticing, in the pace of it all, we are here now together, forever changed, and still living. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. In the quiet we share here, let us hold both the gifts and the challenges of silence. I find myself often comforted on a Sunday morning that we are holding imperfect silence across different houses, across seeming borders, in different countries, in different towns, here in our city of Rochester. Let us hold the silence shared across all of the locations we worship from, that we may ponder what we are to find here in the quiet together. Ponder what is calling us there. Let us share some imperfect silence together. Our hymn of contemplation for the month of January is hymn number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Let us join in singing this hymn together. Our reading this morning is Our Sacred Fire by Elizabeth Harding. People have always known that fire was special. Long, long ago, before people made matches or candles or even made houses, people knew that fire was special. There was the great fire in the sky, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were the smaller fires that people made, fires that cooked their food and kept them warm and brought them light. People honored the fires because fire was special. Fire was more than human. Fire has power. It can create, it can destroy. It can bring light and it can burn. It can create and it can destroy. Fire can be wonderful, and fire can be terrible. We have to be careful with fire. And so people thought that fire was something sacred and holy. Some people even worshiped fire and said that fire was a deity, like a goddess or a god. Other people said fire wasn't actually the deity, but just meant that the deity was there. No matter what they believed, people all over the world gave fire a special place in their religions. They had fires in their homes, of course, to cook food and keep warm, and they also had sacred fires in their temples. They set sacred lamps on their altars. They lit sacred bonfires outside on the hilltops and in the groves. They placed sacred torches near the graves of those who died. We do this today. In Washington, D.C., near the tomb of the unknown soldier, burns an eternal flame that never goes out. In churches at Christmas time, many Christians light 4 candles in an Advent wreath. During the 8 days of Hanukkah, Jews light the 8 candles of the menorah. At Diwali, Hindus set small lamps all around the house. For us, on Christmas Eve, we light candles and sing Silent Night. And when Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice. This is our sacred fire. Thank you, Theo. This music this morning has been beautiful. Thank you. One lesson that I learned at the beginning of this new year: it takes a while to burn a paper calendar. I learned that lesson coming into 2021. I thought it would be a great personal ritual idea to take my personal paper planner from 2020 and to burn it in a fire-safe container and with plenty of water nearby, mind you, trying to remain as safe as possible. So there I was, thinking to myself, I am done with this year. I am so done with this year. Pandemic, election, ministry across the screen, racial justice uprisings in our city and across the world with little to no accountability from the system, all of the death. This was a year I'd be grateful to let go of. I set out with a lighter and a candle and this fire-safe container and plenty of water. But the pages of my paper planner were a bit bigger than I had imagined, so I had to tear them in half. The fire burned a bit brighter than I had imagined, so I had to be really careful to handle the paper gingerly. The smoke got in my eyes sometimes, and I had to take a step back, away, to catch my breath, and to give my eyes the space not to sting anymore. And this provided just a little bit of space. It provided a little bit of space to really think through this ritual I had devised, to burn away the previous year and leave it behind. In that space, I realized that this ritual of release, this burning it all to the ground, was a complete illusion. In fact, in the time it took to burn it all, which was about an hour versus the original quick 20 minutes I thought it would take, in that time, I realized that these fires were not fires of rage or release, but rather fires of healing. There is a distinction here. Fire can be used to destroy, like it says in our reading, to burn it all to the ground. And fire can be used as a way to create a clearing, to heal the land, to make space for more and for new things to grow in its wake. So much has happened this past year, and I'd be a fool to think I could leave it all behind or forget it. I'd be mistaken to think there was nothing to learn from this past year, nothing to gain at all. Let us spare each other the thinking that at the beginning of this year, we are starting completely fresh. And that's not to say we cannot be hopeful at the start of 2021. I feel hopeful. I hope you feel hopeful. A new year always brings with it new possibilities. A new year is a hopeful time for each one of us as it gives us this kind of clean, fresh, hard to describe feeling. This is a hopeful time, and if you are feeling hopeful right now, I encourage you to just claim that. Live in it. We need it. We have to embrace it. Yet there has been so much to learn from this previous year. So many lessons that will leave our lives forever changed. Many of us have been touched by a grief we could not previously imagine. And many of us are actively taking measures to survive a pandemic. In the pages of your calendar from this past year, or perhaps in the calendar on the screen of your phone or your computer, I imagine there were so many learning moments. Times of survival, times of living at a different pace, times when you thought you could not do something but then rose to the occasion. I imagine this past year brought new awarenesses that you will need to carry with you into an uncertain future. The planner whose pages I burned also contained days for 2021 as well. And since the fire was going, and since it was a little brighter than I had imagined, it felt right to burn away those pages too. It felt right to leave the future in larger hands, to just take a moment to surrender to what is to come. For not one of us knows for certain what is to come. And we didn't before. We have never been able to be certain about the future because it hasn't happened yet. All we know is today. And all we know is that the stars will still shine, that the cycle of the seasons continues, that change is a constant factor in our lives. And so here we are, on the brink of 2021. It has already arrived, really, but this is our first service of 2021. Whether you are here out of a sense of wanting to burn it all to the ground, or if you have space to acknowledge the things you would like to carry forward into next year, we are here together. Let our collective fire communion begin. Each year we gather to burn away that which we are releasing from this past year, to scratch down on a piece of paper what we want to let go of. And so I want to give you a moment now to pause and to contemplate something different. This year, I want to invite you to jot down one thing you learned from this past year that you are hoping to carry forward with you. If you have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil handy, take it out and take a moment to write down on one side what you intend to carry forward from 2020. And I'll invite you now, if you are still writing, totally cool, but I'll invite you now to flip the paper over to the other side and to consider what kinds of intentions you would like to set for the year ahead. These need not be concrete resolutions, but they can be. They can also be a wish for this year, something you would like to pay attention to, an intention for the year ahead. Take a moment to contemplate what that could be and write it down on the blank side of your paper. If the year 2020 has taught us anything, and I'm sure it's taught us many things, but one of the things I'm bringing forward is that we must release any preconceived notion of what the future might bring. We must let go of our tight grip on certainty. And so we will take part in this fire communion ritual. We will certainly be burning flash paper here at church, and I would ask you to find a way in the coming days to dispose of the paper that you have at home in whatever way suits you. You can burn the piece of paper, of course, remaining safe, plenty of water nearby, fire-safe container. Tear it up and throw it away, or even crumple it up and bury it in your backyard. However you want to do it. No prescribed way. We have special flash paper that is used for this ritual in our sanctuary, and that is still burned there this year, still burned here this year, to honor what you are releasing and intending to bring forward in the year ahead. The candles used for this ritual were the candles that we used, the very same candles that we used last year, 3 of them, and we added 1 new one. These candles are often used as our chalice lighting candles in our midweek meditation each Wednesday when we gather. As Theo plays and the papers burn, if you feel comfortable to do so, I'd invite you to please share in the chat what you are bringing forward into the next year, and or what intentions you are setting for the year ahead. Recognizing that, of course, this can always remain in the silent sanctuary of your heart. But let us join in this important ritual together. As we burn it all away, we commit to admitting that which we do not know. May this ritual act be one of acknowledging this wisdom. May the fires burn bright in each one of our faces. May we find beacons to guide our way through this upcoming year. May our intentions and our learnings be carried through the year. In our small acts of kindness, in our everyday living, in the ways we care for ourselves and each other, in the hope of a new year, in the silences and the darknesses, in the moments when we surrender to what is to come and appreciate the present moment for what it is. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. Friends, as we join in this commitment to that which we do not know, and as we join together hearts and minds and voices in singing, our final hymn is hymn number 1028, The Fire of Commitment. We invite you to remain muted and sing out joyfully from home, again, creating a collective song from wherever we find ourselves.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful visions comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
As we extinguish our flame, both here at First Universalist Church and in your own homes, will you please join me in reading our chalice extinguishing words in unison, printed on your screen or in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice. taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. Friends, I want to invite you, if you haven't already, to turn your view to gallery view, to get to look upon one another's faces. I feel like this time is so significant for us here in this community to actually get to see each other and to get to look into one another's faces. Let us reach out to the edge of our screens, creating an unending line, a circle that cannot be broken, even in the midst of this time. If you are calling in by phone, I just invite you to place a hand over your heart and to think of someone here in this congregation or someone that you love. Friends, as you go forth into this year, I wish for you a release and a healing, a clearing and a making space, a way to bring forward what you have learned and to live into the intentions that you have set. Let it go. Release. Let us see what happens. May you go forth into this year knowing that you are loved and bringing that love with you to whomever you may interact with or get to know or be with in the year 2021. Happy New Year, First Universalist. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. And as we enjoy our beautiful postlude from Theo, I'd invite you to follow our benediction with the words, I will feed the fire. It's still muted.